Hello, we're back, and again, we're going to continue to speak about that, that concept or that problem that divorce is,
Yeah.
how it affects you as a man, how it affects you as a father. So this is single fathers,
Single fathers thrive. Yeah.
and this is,
And I'm Sydney McKee.
and I'm Pancho Cardeña. All right, so you were saying, because you got to listen to what he's gonna say.
Yeah, I know when I was in the thick of things and I was really, there's so much that comes into a marriage. When the big kind of ball dropped was when my sister-in-law passed away from alcohol. And that was really hard on everyone, but especially hard on Valeria. They had a relationship that was teetering from unhealthy back to healthy, back to unhealthy again. But that's a strong relationship, regardless of what it is, whether it's healthy or if it's not healthy. But the love was there, and she learned a lot over the years about herself from that situation, more than a lot of people get to learn because they don't put themselves in that situation, that kind of love. So again, another hard thing, like divorce is really hard. That's the thing that got me unstuck. Her sister passing away is kind of the thing that got her a little unstuck, but also, yeah, it had to have been unstuck.
Well, isn't that something though? In retrospect, it was a catalyst. And in essence, like I mentioned before, that men and women shouldn't be married just together.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that, that a higher power was involved to make that happen, to kind of, because you needed to do something with your life and she needed to do something with hers. It wasn't going to be together.
And it wasn't going to be together.
So in retrospect, it's one of those examples where, life doesn't happen to you, but it happens for you. In my case, it was again, is that this dissolution, that shock that, but I thought it was going to be forever, but in my case was different because I found out that she was being unfaithful. But it had been a few, I had been seeing a lot of signs that she wasn't necessarily being truthful with me when she spoke to me. And in fact, whenever I needed to get out of work, I would ask her, what should I say? And she would, like that, she would come up with a lie. And I used to tell her, it makes me really fearful that you can lie so easily.
Yeah.
And
so that's a strong emotion.
Yeah. So I mean, when it finally it came to the point where, like, because we were arguing a lot, I didn't want my daughters to see us, argue so much. And when I finally said, I want a divorce, she went ahead, but I was talking to her, and she went ahead and just called the girls. It's like, girls, come on over here, and your daddy wants to get a divorce, just like that.
Yeah, so that leads you into the idea of a type of person.
Exactly. My legs just kind of like gave out on me, and good thing I had a wall behind me that I just leaned on, and I was just like, I couldn't believe how much of a monster she was, how harsh, how horrible she was behaving over spite. Basically, it was just
some people. We've talked about this before. It's not even her fault, but she did the act, and that's there. It's happening. So, she learned that from somewhere, and she knows how to cut, how to hurt, in a very diabolic way. And at what point do you? I mean, there's the ethics of everything. Yeah. Do you call it quits? We know how you did, but my situation is quite a bit different.
Absolutely. It was more decent.
It was more decent. It was more amicable.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those things that you go, oh, that's unfortunate that happened. I mean, you can see the blessing, right? But that's unfortunate because, I mean, hate to see something like that, but, it's like, okay, I guess it's great it's the best for the both of you,
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that. That shows me kind of like the type of person that you are, like the vibration that you have is very high.
And that's another thing, that when it comes to divorce, sometimes you're just not meant to be with that person because vibrationally, you guys don't match.
Yeah, women are very emotional. Men are very emotional too. But this can be a thing that can be hard to manage because I know we've talked about this before, and I've been to a therapist, and we've come to the same kind of fact that if you're an empathetic type of person, you empathize well, if that's one of your spiritual gifts, then you are now dealing with maybe 2 or 3 emotions that are coming to you, and you're like, okay, how am I going to process these? And then on top of that, you're getting a projection of somebody else's emotions that may or may not be regulated, not, as we know, people are not logical beings. We are emotional. Emotions is where actions happen. Now, the ones that are better at dealing with them have like emotional intelligence, and we know there's little tricks that you can do, and you can learn these tricks. But if you've not gone through the hard thing, or if you haven't been through like a breakup or a divorce, hard times, you haven't been through hard things, a lot of times the things that we're learning, like they don't resonate with us. So everybody is in their own kind of level of experience.
And that's where divorce comes in, or that this union of a couple has to come in to kind of like get them to go in their own separate paths and their own separate ways and their own separate vibrations, because they're just not, again, emotionally speaking, they're not in the same level.
They're not on the same level. They're not complementing each other. And I want to change the tone of this to a little bit more fun. And I was thinking, okay, guys, like, I'm gonna roll out an initiative to you right now. The initiative is, okay, we realize that the children want to be part of a family. That's innate to us. We want to be part of the group. And that's how we have been meant for thousands of years, to want to be part of the group, and we want to be part of something powerful and strong. And guess what? One of the best things is for that. It's family. So I get what we're trying to do here with marriage. I really get it. On paper, it looks great. And I'm down for it, but because I'm considered... I'm seriously, okay, remember, I'm keeping a light note, but it's been like almost 2 years of me trying to get through a divorce myself, and everything's amicable. I'm going to do the self-help. I'm trying to do the paperwork. The paperwork is a load of bureaucracy stuff that you will have no idea. It's not as hard as buying a house. You don't have to sign that many contracts, but it is a lot, and it's meant to
drive you crazy.
I don't want to do it into a conspiracy or anything like this, but if one person would just change their last name, so if I have Sydney McKee and Valeria McKee over here, and we sign a contract that says, just like with business, like, we love each other, this is a great business, we're thriving, we're like killing it, we're making assets, like, let's keep making these assets together, we're complementing each other, let's get together. You change your last name, or I don't even care, like, I'll change my last name. It doesn't the most important thing is that the child feels that they're part of a team, which is the team, the last name. I mean, and that's the way that we've been doing it forever. All I'm just saying is just cut the medium out of there, because it will bring, because of all these challenges and the system set up with the lawyers and the judges and The emotions that come up when you have been together for, let's just say, 20 years or 18 years or whatever, and now you guys, who knows what that particular situation is like that goes down. But I mean, I know of my experience, and I can tell you it is hard, and I don't need like the hardest thing in my life to be stacked on with another really, really hard thing that requires lawyers and requires judges. And so if I could just, or if she could just change her last name back, and then we could just check out the contract that we signed in the beginning of this, because we were so hopeful and optimistic, and we just knew that we could take off the world, and we were supposed to meant to be together forever, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would make us not be poor. And it would eliminate quite as much, I mean, you could still sue the person, if for the contract, if they didn't, keep their part of the bargain, you could still sue them. And they could still have that money thing, generating for the lawyers, so everyone wouldn't lose their job, and the judges, because they got to eat too.
But that's just it. I mean, with all the bureaucracy, I can't say that word. Well, all the legal stuff. That overcomplicates it, and I get it. It's that third party has to get in there to kind of make things peaceful. But when it's already being peaceful, you don't need all of that, all of that extra stress. You're trying to keep your family together, like, as much as you can, and in essence, that kind of stuff, it is kind of designed to drive you crazy. All the paperwork and all the legalities about it. And it's just, again, I go back to men and women shouldn't be married. So all these problems don't happen.
Oh my God!
Because in my case, I didn't want to have any contact with my ex, because I mean, like I already stated how diabolical. No, he said it. Diabolical she was, which is a great word. I just said, I don't want anything. She can keep it all. Bye. Because I did not want to go through all that extra stress, because again, I was only thinking, what is this going to do to my children to see this process elongate that much, and having their dad and mom, just kind of fight it off in the legal system,
Mm-hmm.
I just said, you know what, that's it, I'm done. She can just go her separate way, I'll go my separate ways, and we'll never see each other again,
Mm-hmm.
And because I did not want to have that kind of influence in my life, and that's really why I decided to part ways from her, because she was not necessarily a good person, so in essence, I omitted all the legalities, and I just told my lawyers, just tell her that she can keep everything, and where do I sign? Boom. And I just, to just do a clean slate, start from point zero if I have to, everything that I built with this woman basically went to oblivion, or she kept, or whatever. But the point was that I didn't want to get driven crazy by all those processes.
Yeah, the processes of divorce, and it almost goes back to the unconscious collective that is around this whole subject. There's a lot of some people say, oh, the women tend to get favored a lot of the time, and I'm sure that has some validity to it, but I know there's also other perspectives that and I'm sure that it can happen the other way as well. The point is, it's just not healthy the way that the current state of affairs of the legal system.
Well, yeah, and also, we're gonna probably leave this to the next for the next episode, because you also have the culture. We have had conversations about the entertainment that that we're streaming nowadays, because nobody goes to the movies unless it's this guy, because he just went to the movies yesterday. But the entertainment that we're streaming, we're watching now is very much pro. Okay, I'll just say it. A lot of these shows are saying to women, "Go ahead, honey, go ahead and have your fun." He will forgive you if you have your extramarital affairs. He will eventually, if he loves you, he'll forgive you. And that's basically how it's left. That a lot of them are being encouraged for them to go off and have their cake and eat it too, basically. And in the end, we become the dickheads because we don't want to put up with that.
Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. So I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm glad you stated it, because us, and I say that even just on the woman's side, like that we're married, because we're all just people. We have to be careful with the influences that we have, because your dad could influence you and all of a sudden change your energy and your vibration to where now that's coming into the dynamic of your relationship and affecting it. I can definitely relate and connect with that. And I know, for example, Pancho, his wife is also, got some heavily influenced by her mother.
Exactly. I mean, in my case, my father wanted to give me advice about how to handle my woman, basically, when I first got married or throughout my marriage. And it was one of those things where, like, I'm not going to take advantage. I'm not going to take advice from you, because he was a very narcissistic person. I was like, the way you abuse my mother, forget about it. I don't want your advice, Yeah. So I decided to be a better person, a better man for my ex. And in the end, that didn't help, because she only saw something that, I could get this anywhere. It became that, this guy's easy. This guy's too nice.
It goes back into like, all I have to do is just look for another Mark. With these similar traits, and I'm coming out on top of the situation. I'm winning. I'm seeking comfort, which is where we fall into a track when we're seeking comfort. We want things to be easy. We want things to be convenient. We don't want to have to think about things. Yeah. And
in essence, you have two guys here who wanted to be married, who love being married, who love having a family, to come back to after work. These are two guys who actually did a lot to have that family, to support that family, to be part of the team, part of the tribe, part of the pack. We were so willing to do that. And in the end, the culture, the entertainment was the one who, the influences basically was the one.
They kind of
was the big factor there.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So, in essence, we will have to speak about this on another episode, because we're running out of time, and we don't want to make this too long, because then we'll end up blabbering like
like we did last time. We should have raised our hand.
So, if you want to hear more, just remember,
tune back in.
Yes, but remember, we're here for you. We're here for you, and we want to make sure that you find validation in everything that you're going through, because it is tough, but you're not alone, because a lot of us have gone through the same thing. So we want you to see this program as a way of support, because we want to build a community of fathers who enjoyed, having a family, enjoyed having a pack, but for some reason or another, you can't have it anymore. You're not alone. We're here for you, and you're not going through this, all by yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely resources, and we're just confident that you're going to get through this, and you're going to be more of a you're going to grow from it, and you're going to be more of a stellar human being. And there's a next chapter for you, and if you need help, we can give you some guidance.
Yeah, leave your comments. Maybe we can talk about your case, or to give you some validation. Again, the whole point is to let you know that you're not alone.
All right,
take it
signing
easy.
off.